Janet, you know, the PM has been very good to you, but what sort of reaction do you get from the audience when you do her around the country?
Well, it's interesting because, you see, when I'm just myself, everything is absolutely normal and natural. And then when I take on this rather gracious image, it's extraordinary how people are kind of disciplined by it. I mean, if I give you an example, when I'm in the studio and when I'm just being myself, fine. Then I go to lunch and perhaps I'm going to do a Margaret Thatcher impression after lunchtime. So I get my wig on and my suit on and I go up to the dining room and I sit down and everybody's chatting, everybody's having a good time. And then I say, would you mind passing the salt? And immediately, immediately people kind of freeze and they say, I know it's you, Janet. I know you're sitting there, but somehow we're inhibited, you see. So it does alter things quite a lot.
Do you ever actually feel a bit like Margaret Thatcher yourself? Because you have to concentrate so much around her, you know.
Yes, well, there was only one time when we were doing a program and I was really in that outfit all day long, from morning till late at night. And by the time I'd finished, I felt I just had to get out of everything because I was kind of drowned in it. And I don't like that. I like to get back to being myself.
Have you had to change your impression of the Prime Minister over the last couple of years? Because she has changed quite a bit, really.
Well, she has altered a lot, yes, because she's no longer the anxious lady she was at the beginning. You know, particularly if she'd been answering questions, she would have been right forward here, you see, and very, very eager to look into your eyes. But now she's right back, sort of enjoying life and taking it easy. She's completely changed.
And her voice actually has changed, hasn't it?
Oh,
in
yes.
Register, you know.
A great deal. When I first met her, I went to the House of Commons and we did some pictures together. And I said to her, because the photographer was in the room, I said, would you mind very much if I do a little bit of you, as it were, so that I can get this look on my face? And at that time, she did speak very, very slowly. So when I did this, it right into her face, she said, good Lord, I don't talk like that. I said, well, no, but I had to hold that look so we could get the picture.
You've actually been very busy over the Christmas period. You've had your own show in Bournemouth. So
yes.
Have you been able to add any new characters, new voices to your act?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But, of course, this is the thing. You're always on the lookout with impersonations, but there isn't any good taking a new person if everybody doesn't know them. But I suppose the characters that have meant such a lot at the moment in the shows are the new ones, the hidey-high characters. I think it just shows, you see, what affection the audience have for these people. Because Sue Pollard, whom I just love, when I go out there and say to the audience, mind you, I have the glasses on and suddenly say to everybody, hello, campus. Mr. Fairbrother standing over there. And he says if I do a good impression, he might let me become a yellow coat. and the really nice thing is that all the audience believe this. And when I finish the number and I say, he says I can be a yellow coat, they all go, hooray!
Really
so, you know, it's really rather nice. And, of course, they love Ruth Maddock. Because the contrast is tremendous. I mean, there's such strong characters to do. Because you always have to look for people who have very strong sort of details about them that the public all know. And with Ruth, I had quite a lot of difficulty. Do you want to hear about it?
Oh, sure.
Because,
yes.
you know, I had quite a lot of problems with her because, first of all, when I was doing my own series, they wrote a sketch. They said, you must do a Ruth Maddock. Then I said, oh, yes, I'd love to do that. Then I watched her, and one thing I can't do is look at a video relentlessly and hope that the thing will happen. It's a very spontaneous thing, an impersonation. You see something and you think, oh, yes, oh, that's great, I love that. I mean, there's something about you, but I'll tell you later. Oh. And the thing with her, I thought, no, I'm not getting anywhere at all. And then I happened to put a video on to see somebody else with their clothes and the detail to that. And a little piece of hidey-high was at the end. And she suddenly walked through a door, and I thought, I know what she's all about now, because everything with Ruth Maddock is on a breath, you know. Everything she has to say is on a breath, you see. She says, IDI campus. And then she takes a little breath. And then she's always staring into the man's eyes, isn't she, you see? And all that sort of thing, that sort of feeling, and the way she walks, and the way she holds her body. And when I saw that, I thought, that's what she's about. But that sort of eluded me till then. And then you kind of tie them up together, and away you go.
Actually, do you actually observe all your friends and your colleagues? Are you always watching for little mannerisms?
Well, it's a kind of an unconscious thing, really. I do take in people around me. I see them doing something, and I think, isn't that funny? I have told this before, but it did make me laugh. I have a friend of mine, and we haven't got a table napkin. But anyway, let's just pretend with the script. Can I just touch this for the moment? And if we're sitting together at the table, you see, and she's chatting quite seriously, she takes her table napkin, she says, well, Jan, I don't know about you, but I think the state of the world is absolutely terrible. And she proceeds to roll it all up. And when she's got it all rolled up, she then unrolls it all up. And then, in the middle of all this, while she's sitting at the table chatting, she takes the table napkin and she proceeds to clean all the table and says, well, of course, you see, if I were... she just has no idea that she's doing it. And I said to her one day, I said, do you know what you do? And I showed her, and she said, I don't do that. And I said, you do? And I said, I've got another friend, and she sits at the table with her table napkin, and she says, well, and she starts to sort of fold the sheets, you know, all this sort of thing while she's talking.
So would you put my words back?
I don't know where I am. And she had no idea no idea they're doing it. I had two women in the ladies' room the other day, and one was saying to the other one, and I thought, I must listen, and she was saying, would you like a blue purse? Could you do with a blue purse? And the other one says, oh, why are you saying that? She said, well, I got a blue purse for Christmas, and you know I never wear blue. I wear brown all the time, never blue. Now, I've got a blue purse and a brown purse, so could you do with a blue one? And I thought, I just got to listen in to all these little bits of chat that go on. They all make for dialogue for
Well, you know, Barbara Woodhouse has been such a successful character for you.
Yeah.
I mean, was she an obvious choice the first time you saw her?
Well, she's such a powerful lady. And you know, the first time I did see her, a scriptwriter rang me and said, you must do an impression of Barbara Woodhouse. And I hadn't seen her. And he said, you must look in and see this woman. Well, of course, when I saw this lady saying, look here, do this and do that, and she's laughing to me. And I thought, she's marvelous. I must do an impression of her. So the next thing is the physical situation, because she's a larger lady than I am, considerably, especially up here. And again, you might like to hear what we did, because I have to try and look as near physically as possible. So I had the sweater and the skirt and my little blouse and my flat shoes and my woolen stockings and everything else. And I said, what can we do about up here? So somebody said, well, we'll get you a padded bra. So they brought this bra. I said, no, because, you know, when she walks along the outside, and you know, everything kind of, you know what I mean? It all sort of says hello, you know. So I thought, what can we do about this? So they produced different bras, and then I suddenly said, I tell you what, to get that kind of look, why don't we try a couple of balloons with water in them? This is true, this is perfectly true. And let's put them down. So the warder proceeded to blow up the balloons, you see, and say, how about this for size and things. So eventually I had these two balloons tucked into my bra, and we were out on location all day, we were working outside. And I said, give me hot water, whatever you do, or I'll freeze, you know. So I had them filled with hot water. And I was going around quite happily. And, of course, with the sound system, because of walking about and training the dogs and all sorts of things, the sound boys had put a little microphone down here. And while I was in the middle of all the lines, one of the fellows came out of the control room of the caravan, and he said, look, do you mind if we stop for a few seconds? We're having terrible trouble with your dialogue. Could we just have a look? And I found that the microphone had slipped in between the bra, and all they were getting was the water just sort of... So that was my day with Barbara Woodhouse.
Don't you also use lentils? I mean, I'm not saying that you're stuffed with lentils today,
well, no,
or anything like that. But...
No, but of course, this is where they're very helpful in wardrobe about getting the natural look. And with these characters that are rather large ladies, Peggy Mount, for example, well, I was doing a Barbara Woodhouse with the water and the balloons, and I said, what are we going to do for Peggy Mount? So they said, we'll fill them with lentils, because they get that kind of, you know... I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. And I said, it's a pity they couldn't both meet up. We could have made soup. But with Peggy Mount, you see, with characters like that, it's not just the physical thing. It's here because she is quite a large lady again, and it's the teeth. You see, so many characters that you impersonate, the teeth are terribly important, and she's got very powerful teeth. And by the time you get the teeth in and the voice to go with it, you know.
We have only a short time left, Janet. You said that you had been doing me to a limited extent.
No, I tell you what it was. I was driving along in the car and I suddenly heard you. And I thought, there's Gloria, and she's never stopped for an answer. In fact, it's really rather like Margaret Thatcher. She never hums and haws. I heard someone talking to you from some village somewhere. Oh, yes, and where's your husband? Is he outside? He's in the out hut, is he? Oh, well, it's always like that on a day off. You find your husband's always there when you're out at his work. And what about it? And you went on and on, you see, and I thought, marvellous. Then when I watch you, I think, isn't it interesting? Because you're very complete. You see, you don't move around and fuss. Like, you don't move hands like that. You sit down and you get everything together and you tell it very straightforwardly and you ask your questions and it's all very sort of nice and very straightforward. And there's no problem, is there? She just gets it there so well, don't you think? I love it.
The funny thing is that when anybody does try to do me as such, they nearly always end up with a Belfast thing. It's like a who are you, which I actually don't have.
No, you're very
so you've eliminated
voice.
the harshness.
No, none of that is there. Terry Wogan said it was the best Ian Paisley he'd ever heard.
I suppose, as you say, you're always looking for new people to do. I mean, I was surprised, for example, say when you did somebody like Sue Ellen, because, I mean, that was terrific.
Well, with Sue Ellen, I had to, because it was people who wrote and said to me, had I thought about doing it. And then when I looked in and saw this marvellous face full of agony, you know how she can never find the answer. She's always in tears, she's always, isn't she? She's always... Hi. I'm so glad you asked me on your show, Gloria. But I was hoping we might go out and do something really special, like getting sober or something.
My mascara will never be intact again. I think it's terrific.
Well,
actually,
I don't know how she keeps hers on, because she cries all the time.
Actually, Janet, you're off to the States. I mean, something like tonight or tomorrow morning or something.
I'm flying out tonight. I'm off to Los Angeles to do some television over there, so I'm very excited about it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. You've been so much fun today.
Thank you
and
very
Janet
much.
Brown,
I've enjoyed it.